Let me say something that most women don't expect to hear. You don't hate your body, you hate the outcome of a system you didn't realize you were following. Most women think they have a weight loss problem. They don't. They have a decision environment problem. Because if we zoom out for a second, you already know what works. Protein matters, lifting matters, sleep matters, and consistency matters. You do know. So the real question is, why isn't that knowledge showing up in your daily life? Because your day isn't structured to support those decisions. It's reactive. You wake up without a plan, no clear meals, no anchor points, no structure to your training. So from the first hour of your day, you're already negotiating. Coffee instead of food, pushing meals off, grabbing whatever is convenient, ending the day with a goblet. And here's where it gets important. When your early decisions are unstable, your physiology follows. Blood sugar becomes inconsistent, energy becomes inconsistent, focus becomes inconsistent. And by the end of the day, you're not making decisions from discipline, you're making decisions from depletion. That's when cravings show up, not as a personality flaw, but as a biological response to instability earlier in the day. And this is where a lot of women misinterpret what's happening. They think, I just need more willpower. No, you need better inputs earlier. Because when protein is low, when meals are skipped, when stress is high, your body will look for the fastest form of relief. Sometimes that's sugar, sometimes that's overeating, and sometimes it's something like a glass of wine or 2 or 3 or 4 at the end of the day. Not because wine is the problem, but because your system led you there. And what most people don't understand is it's not just about the calories of that decision. It's the downstream effect. Sleep quality drops, recovery drops, fat loss stalls, next day hunger increases, and training performance decreases. And your ability to make strong decisions the next day goes way down. So now you're not just dealing with one choice, you're dealing with a ripple effect across 24 to 48 hours. That's how people stay stuck, while feeling like they're doing pretty good. Now layer on top of this how women approach fat loss. They chase weight, not composition. So they eat less, do more cardio, avoid resistance training. And what happens? They lose weight, but they don't build anything. No muscle, no structure, no metabolic support. So even when the scale goes down, they don't like how they look. And eventually they can't sustain how they're living. And this is where metabolism gets blamed. But metabolism isn't broken. It adapted to low intake, low muscle, high stress, inconsistent fueling. Your body is efficient, it's just not optimized. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention. When women undereat and overstress their system, it doesn't just affect fat loss. It affects mood, libido, energy, and hormonal balance. Testosterone in women is critical, not just for muscle, but for drive, confidence, and overall vitality. And when you chronically underfuel, you suppress the very systems that help you feel like yourself. So now it's not just, I don't like how I look, it becomes, I don't feel like me anymore. And instead of addressing the system, most women double down on restriction. More rules, less food, more cardio, which pushes them further away from the outcome they actually want. At the same time, they're avoiding the one stimulus that would change their body the most, progressive resistance training, because they're afraid of building too much muscle while doing everything that prevents them from building any at all. That disconnect keeps women stuck for years. And then the industry reinforces it. Quick fixes, short-term plans, extreme approaches, none of which teach you how to live. So you end up with knowledge without a system. And knowledge without a system creates inconsistency. What I do differently is I simplify everything. You don't need more information, you need fewer decisions. Structured meals, protein anchored, training with purpose, recovery supported. So your body becomes predictable again. Energy stabilizes, cravings decrease, hormones improve, strength increases, and your physique starts to reflect that. Not because you're trying harder, but because your system is finally aligned. And this is the shift most women never make. They stop trying to be perfect and start becoming consistent. Because when your day is built correctly, you don't need to rely on willpower at night. You're not negotiating, you're executing. And that's where confidence comes from. Not from the scale, not from motivation, from knowing your system works and trusting yourself to follow it. So if you feel stuck, it's not because you're failing. It's because your system hasn't been built yet. You don't need another diet. You need a structure that supports the woman you're trying to become. That's what I teach. And when you're ready for that, you know where to find me.